Hello, good morning, my dear children. Welcome back. So, today I am going to start with the new chapter of English literature, New Pathways. Okay, it is a revised edition, children. As I already told you, the previous edition was changed now. This is a new edition of New Pathways, Literature Reader 5. Okay, children. Now, this in this first lesson of this particular book, Literature Reader, the first lesson is The Toda and the Tar, written by E.R.C. Davidar. The story is similar to the story of which you have already learned in the previous class. Okay? Now, the story is based on the life of Todas. It is set in Niligiris, the tribe of the reason. Okay? Now, in this story, a Nilgiri Tar or a base who is rescued from a trap by a Kamos, a Toda boy. Okay? Now, we have that brief introduction about the author. Okay? Who is the author of this lesson? You know that? E.R.S. Davidar. He was a well-known wildlife conservationist from southern India. He has published several articles on wildlife. His life was dedicated to the defense of the exquisite Nilgiri ranges of South India. Now, let us focus on the title, Toda and the Tar. Okay? Now, look at the children, Toda and the Tar. Let us focus on the title, Toda and the Tar. Todas are the tribe of the Nilgiri Mountains region of the Indian state of Tamil Nadu. The Toda traditionally live in a mountainous region. The settlement called Mund, consisting of 3 to 7 small thatched houses, constructed in the shape of half barrels and located across the slopes of the pasture on which they keep domestic buffaloes. Their economy is pastoral, based on the buffalo, whose dairy products they trade with the neighboring people of the Nilgiri Hills. Tar, a goat-like mammal. Tar is a goat-like mammal that inhabits mountain slopes in Oman, southern India, and the Himalayas. Nilgiri Tar, the state animal of Tamil Nadu. Let us we begin with the story Toda and the Tar. Before I start this lesson, you take the pencil and keep the pencil that underline the words which is unfamiliar, and I will explain you the some of the words about while explaining the lesson. Okay? Now, let us begin that. I hope you put full concentration on this. Now, first, what is that? Kamos asked sharply. His dog Cooch growled. Growl means barked. They both listened intently, deliberately. Intently means deliberately. The boy and his dog were ledged on a mountainside with jetted into space. You know, jetted, already it has been given that stuck out into the space. After their feet lay chasm. Chasm means here, children, a deep opening in the ground. Deep into the chasm, deep and frightening. As they stood listening, the call was repeated. It was a cry of distress. Distress means misery or a suffering, and it was becoming fainter, weak. Fainter means weak, but dim we call fainter, dim. It was enough to tell Kaumos that the sound came from narrow strip of jungle between two cliffs. Okay, cliff means a high area of rocks. Children. Okay, cliffs. Kaumos closely followed by Coach. What is the name? Here, Coach is a dog. Rushed down a steep rocky path toward the sound. He had to be careful. On false step would send him hurtling down the precipice. Precipice. The boarded the track. The small wood they entered was damp and dark. When he entered there, it was he might get hurt if he put the false step on that. If he by mistake, it is very dangerous. The small wood they entered was damp and dark. Commos had to slow down and grope. Okay. About the gloom. Gloom means here it is partially dark. With his eyes had adjusted to the dim light, he saw a young Nilgiri Thar. You know what is a Thar? A goat. Then Kamos passed with his eyes adjusted to the dim light, he saw a young Nilgiri Thar caught in the snare. What do you mean by snare, children? A trap used by hunter. The animal gave a last feeble bleat sound. Here, deeply injured, and the animal gave a feeble, stopped struggling, lay still. Lay means lie. Past tense of lie is lay. Lay still. Camus thought it was dead. The wire of a snare had cut deeply in its neck. Okay, and animal was bleeding. So the animal was bleeding because of it got injured. Its neck and the animal was bleeding. Now, what about that boy Camus did that? Camus passed his light over the animal. There was no other visible injury, though he could feel its its heart was pounding rapidly. Heart was pounding. Pounding means beating rapidly with fear. Sometimes the heart, if you are having a fear, the heart beat pounding rapidly, very fastly. He sat beside the animal and loosened the snare, the wire, gently, very carefully. The kid gulped in air, great gasp. Camus carried it to a small spring. There he bathed, past tense of bathed, past tense of bath is bathed. A young Thar, T-A-H-R, Thar. It is pronounced as Thars, wound and dressed it with leaves. See that kindness of that boy. He dressed with the leaves. Dressing, you know that after the injury, we have the dressing. So now, children, if we find that with the leaves of the plants, which he had seen his people used to heal the wounds. Okay, he's seen that his people use that one. So same he has actually put the leaves on that on the particular animal. Okay, look after our young friend. Camus ordered his dog. Who is his dog? What is the name of his dog? Cooch. Then he searched the strip of forest. More snares. Sure enough, there were 3 more. They were cunningly set on hunting trails used by the tar, crossing from one section of the cliff. Cliff means I have already told you the high area of a rock. Okay. Now to the other, the snare would pass over the neck of a body of an animal that walked through it and hold it. As the trapped animal struggled to free itself, the noose would tighten leading to its death. If the snare caught it round the body or a leg, it would starve to death. It was cruel way to capture animals. Camus was furious, means he was very angry. So the cruel way of capturing the animals, the snare caught it. The three more snares they have that. It's just like a wire children, strong that it is very dangerous. They use this particular snares to catch the animal. He did not know of any track leading over the cliffs into. Now, next, turn the page, children. The jungle below, cliff into the jungle below. He remembered seeing a party of hunters on the cliff line some days ago. He wished he had followed them to find out what they were doing. He tore the snare from the trees to which they were anchored and threw them down a cliff where no one could reach them. So what he did that? He took these snares from the trees which has been tied, then he took it and threw to the somewhere threw from down of the cliff. Now the cry of the young tar is in distress, very suffering. That distress and sad had attracted others besides Camus. Two of the hunter tribe who happened to be hunting in the jungle below heard it. They hurried to claim their prize. They hurried to claim their prize. They said that it is there. Now look at that. The strip of the forest where Camus find the trapped tar fell away abruptly. Camus stood there, wondering how the hunters planned to visit their traps. Cautiously, he moved forward to investigate. As his feet lay well plated rope made of cane, it reached the right down to the jungle below, which at this point was not far away. As Camus watched, the rope suddenly came to life and wriggled like a snake. He leaned forward to have a better look, and in so doing almost stumbled over. Two hunters were climbing up the side of the precipice with the help of the man's fingers, groped for a handhold to pull himself. He glared into the boy's eyes, trying to frighten him into inaction. Camus' blood froze. Okay, suddenly he remembered the wood cutting knife he had in his hand. He made as if to cut the rope. Now it was Hunter's turn to be frightened. Now listen that how bravely he fought with them. Now shouting a warning to his companion, he slid down the rope as rapidly as possible. Camus waited until the men were about to a dozen feet from a ground and then cut the rope. As they fell, he warned them this should teach them teach you a lesson. Very interestingly, the boy he has applied his mind and he cut the rope and dozen of people they their feet from the ground and then cut the rope. They fell down and he warned them what he warned that this should teach you a lesson. Okay, children. Now we have next one, next page. To make sure that the poacher would not use their shortcut to the plateau for some time, Camus cut down the trees and plants were likely to serve as a support for the ladder. While he was busy, the young tar regained consciousness. When it opened its eye, what should see but a large, fierce looking dog staring at it. The young animal took fright. He decided that the best thing to do was to lie still and behave as though it were dead, a tactic used by some wild animals. It lay still until Kamos returned. Okay, children. So the next part of the lesson will continue tomorrow. I hope you will just you read this story, very nice one, and tomorrow we'll take the second part. Okay, thank you.